Hi everybody. So we just got done cutting out these butterflies. So I showed you the process for removing a background and creating silhouettes like this. And these butterflies now we can move around and we can place anywhere that we want because now they have a transparent background. Now the next thing that I wanted to show you is kind of the inverse of that. That's making transparent holes in things so that they can be frames. Let me show you what I'm talking about. What we're going to do is we're going to go to here and I'm going to insert a brand new blank slide. Now in here I'm going to put an image. And what I'm going to show you then is we're going to bring in an image from one of my favorite sites. So I'm going to go over to a place called Pixabay. Pixabay.com. Now the thing that I like about Pixabay is that they have free for commercial use, no attribution required public domain images, meaning you can do anything that you want with these images. And this is the image that I thought would be kind of neat. Let's see if we can get a better look at this image. So I was looking for frames and I came across this one. Now, if I want to download this frame, I just go free download and it will ask me for some words. Oh, it's already asked me, and then it'll ask me where I want to save it. And I just say, go ahead and save. I already saved this as frame JPEG. Now what I can do is go back over to PowerPoint, and I can insert my picture. Let's go to how to make book covers with PowerPoint, and here's my picture. Now, unfortunately, it's portrait instead of landscape, so we'd have to do a little resizing to get it to actually fill this book cover size. But while we've got it here, let me show you the concept. So I'm going to make a hole here where the frame is, and then I'm going to put a picture behind it that shows through the hole so that I can kind of have a picture in this frame. Now to do that, I go first to Format, okay, and I'm going to click on that. I'll say Format, Remove Background, and there. So now it's actually saying that it's going to remove everything that I'd like to keep. So what we're going to do is we're going to go in here and we're going to say, okay, here's the area I want you to remove. This white area in here, and I'll try and more or less get pretty close to the edge. And it should figure out what I'm talking about. Okay, we actually want to remove all of this area too. Okay, there we go. We got it removed and it's keeping the frame. Now we've got to go through the arduous process because it's got wallpaper on it. It's going to start trying to be smart about picking out areas of this wallpaper. So we need to kind of color this whole area as I want to keep it. And don't worry about how neat or whether you go over the edges. The only area you don't want to go in is inside the frame. That's the area we don't want. All the rest of this, just go ahead and scribble all over it. Okay, so that's all the stuff I want to keep. And how close did we get? Not very close. Here, let's color in more areas that we would like to keep. And this, it can take a few shots. There we go. To get all of the areas. You'll notice it starts putting in parts of these little atoms. And we want that to be kept. Whew. Okay, we're getting closer. Just this edge and the top edge. Now, actually, there might be a quicker way to do this, and that's just to select a rectangle in the middle of the picture and hit delete. but I wanted to show you this technique because what you're selecting or cutting out or making a frame out of might not be rectangular. So in those cases, you want to use this technique so that you can remove unusual shapes. Okay, let's get the last of this. And the very edge we didn't get. There we go, and now it brought in a little bit of this grass. Okay, we want to keep this grass. And there we go. We got everything except for that center area that we don't want. And now we go keep the changes. Now we've got a hole in here. You can't see that it's a hole because we have a white background and it just shows white. But let's bring in another picture. Let's insert a picture of me. So I'm going to go grab this picture of me. It's a little more landscape than most of my pictures. Where'd that picture go? Had one rather that was more portrait. There it is. So I'll bring in this picture. It's quite large, so we grab the upper corner to resize it, maintaining the aspect ratio, and get it down to about the size that we want. Maybe a little smaller. And we put it here. Now the problem is that it's on top of the frame, so I've got to do something that you don't know about yet. Actually you do, because we've already used it. But we're going to talk about this in the next lecture, and that's move the picture to the back. And there, now you've got a picture frame around another picture. So I wanted to show you this technique too. You have two techniques now. You can remove the background from images to get silhouettes to move around, or you can remove holes to make frames so that you can put things into the frames. And it doesn't have to be just a picture frame. You can make holes in anything. So you can take a street scene and you could take the sky out and you could replace that with a different sky, things like that. So that's the other technique, is to make frames with this remove background technique. And in the next section, we're going to start looking at layers and raising and lowering them.